Hi there, everyone. Today we are going to be go ahead and working on making tileable textures today. I've been doing a whole bunch of textures lately and stuff like that because, as you guys know, if you've watched my previous tutorial and stuff like that, I'm going to be releasing a texture pack that I've been making. This one is not going to be released in there because this one's downloaded off of CG Textures. But I just wanted to go ahead and share the process with you guys and show you guys that you can make a normal map, a displacement map, and a specular map inside of Gimp. And you don't need no special software. Now, there is a software that's free, and you can look it up. It's called Insane Bump. And I'll just open that real quick. And it's called Insane Bump. And press C to toggle the camera. There we go. And it's called Insane Bump. And it's a pretty decent program. This is the standalone for Insane Bump. If you look up Insane Bump for Gimp, you will find a plugin for this inside of Gimp. But I didn't like it because you didn't really have a preview. So this is one that you guys could go ahead and download and play around with. Just look for Insane Bump Standalone. It's by Omar Emad, and it's pretty good and it works pretty decent. It's the next best thing to Crazy Bump. So, but what we're going to use today is you can make normal maps inside of Gimp. And that's what we're going to go ahead and use today. Now, I will say it's not the best, and you don't have all the features like you do if you got Quixel Suite or Crazy Bump or something like that. But it does work pretty well. I oscillate between normal maps or bump maps. So it just depends on what type of look and stuff I'm going for. Sometimes normal maps, they just don't give me the right look, so I'll use a bump map. And sometimes I will use the normal map, and then I will add the bump map into the displacement slot inside of Blender down here in the displacement. Sometimes I will use both of them, but this is pretty easy. Now, a plugin that you'll need to download if you followed my last tutorial is the Resynthesizer program, the add-on. It's been a long day for me today. But yeah, anyways, you'll have to download it. I mean, you don't have to because we're going to be using the clone tool a whole bunch. But the Resynthesizer add-on just makes getting rid of the seams a whole lot easier. So I'll leave a link for that down below. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over to CG Textures. And CG Textures normally looks like this, but they are updating their website finally, and I'm super, super happy for that. It is about time because, yeah. But anyways, so if you guys go to CG Textures, it'll probably look like this. And if you have an account, they said before, I think February of 2015, then your account will work over here. They haven't ported over everybody's account over here yet because it's still in the beta release or alpha release, one of the two. But it works pretty good to me. So I just clicked on this little image right here, and then it took me to this website. Their new website, and it's really nice, and I really like it, and it's more modern and updated. So what I clicked on was soil. So down here I just clicked on soil, and then I came over, and this is the soil, and I clicked on sand with pebbles, and so it opened up in here. And the one that I am using is this one right here, and it is called Sand Pebbles 0029, and I don't know why it's doing that, but just click on that, and then we'll come over here, and the one that I downloaded was where's it at? This one right here. So, and I downloaded the large, the 3000 by 2174, because we are going to make a 2K texture. So it's 2048 by 2048. So I went ahead and downloaded this one, and I like this one the best. So we are going to go ahead and come here into Gimp, and I'm going to go ahead and close out. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead, and just close out all these. Discard changes, and let's go ahead and go to File and then Open. And we are going to go ahead and open that Sands Pebble image. I'm going to go ahead and close out that normal map too. And this is what the image looks like. And it's pretty nice, big size, and it's pretty detailed. So, I mean, until you get way in there. But it's a pretty detailed image. So we're going to just go ahead and grab the crop tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and select around the whole image. And then I'm going to come over here into my tool options panel. And I'm going to scroll down to where it says size. And then I'm just going to type in 2048 and hit enter. And then 2048 and hit enter over here. And then I'm just going to come in the middle here, and I'm just going to kind of line this up to be something like that. And I'm going to press enter. And so now we got a 2048 tile here. The next thing that we are going to want to do is you're going to want to go up to layer, and we're going to go down to transform and then go to offset. And the shortcut for that is Control-Shift-O. And we are going to offset this by 1024. So we're going to offset it by half, 1024, and then click offset. And then you'll see how we get these seams in here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab our rectangular select tool, and we're just going to make a little selection right down the seam here. And then we're going to go into filters, and we're going to go into enhance, and we're going to go to heal selection. And I'm just going to keep it on the defaults, 50 all around and random, and I'm going to click OK. Now, if this takes a little while, since it is a big image and I am recording, then I will go ahead and speed this up. Alrighty, guys, I'm back. So I'm going to press Control-Shift-A to deselect that. And you'll see that it worked pretty decently. We're going to have to do a little bit of touch-up, but that's fine. And now over here, I'm going to make a bigger selection just so that it will draw around from more of the area. And it'll be easier to clone. So I'm going to go ahead and just press Control-F, and this might take a while, so I'm going to speed this up too. Alrighty, guys, I am back. I'm going to press Control-Shift-A to deselect that, and as you can tell that it's not the best, and that is fine with me. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come over here, and we're going to create a new layer and press OK. And we're going to come click on our clone tool, and then we're going to come over here to our properties panel, and we're going to scroll down, and you want to make sure you click on sample merged right there. And then I'm just using a hardness or a soft brush with a hardness of 0.5. And we're going to come over here and we're going to try to make this look better. So hold down Control anywhere on your image, and let's sample from maybe here and click. Holding down Control, and then now let's just kind of run along with it, and let's see if we can't blend this in a little bit better. So I'm just going to hold down Control and click in different places, and just see if I can't get some of this stuff blended in a little bit better. Control and click over here, and maybe right here. And just kind of, we just kind of want to blend some things in. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click and maybe back over here. And just kind of we just kind of want to try to blend in some of these hard edges. And right here, you see what I did right here. It's got the same pattern going, and we don't want that, so I'm going to Control Z that, and I'm just going to kind of go along with it and just kind of have it follow the silhouette there. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and kind of just get in here a little bit. And that looks okay to me. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to press Control-Shift-O to bring up the offset again. And we are going to offset it by 512 by 512 by 512 this time. So click Offset. And you'll see that on tileable textures, we don't want nothing that's going through that makes it look like it's not seamless. And right here, you can see the problem here. So now what we're going to do is just we're going to Control click, and we're going to just come in here and we're going to kind of try to blend this in the best that we can so we can make it look really good. So I'm just Control clicking on different places because I want to get rid of that little seam that we had going across there and try to make it blend in a little bit better with each other. So, and this is a pretty simple process. It just gets kind of tedious. Let's see here. Scroll in and look out from afar. And that looks pretty decent there. So we're going to go ahead and press, actually you guys don't have that down there. So we'll just go ahead and right click and we're going to go ahead and merge that down. Just like that. And now we are going to press Control-Shift-O and we are going to offset it again by 1024. And make sure that we don't have nothing that is too noticeable in here. And I'm going to go ahead and click and make a new layer. And I'm going to Control click over here. Because as you can tell, we got a little seam going on right there. And so I'm just going to kind of try to blend that in just a little bit better. And Control click over here. Kind of got a little bit of seam going on over here. And Control click somewhere over here. And just kind of get rid of that little part there. And that looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty tiled. You could go back through it as many times as you'd like until you get it to what you really want. But I'm really liking this look. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to right click and I'm going to merge down this layer. And then we're going to go ahead and go to File. And we're going to go to Export As. And we will go ahead and go into the Textures folder here. And I'm going to go ahead and create another one. And I'm just going to name this Textures _2, and then we will rename this to we'll just name this Sandy Moss texture _02, and then we'll put .jpg for JPEG, and we're going to go ahead and export that. I want 100% quality and click export. And now we got that exported out. Now what we can do is we can go up here and I'm going to show you how to create a normal map right inside of Gimp. So we're going to go to Filters and then we're going to go to Map. And they've got Bump Map, Displace Map. Here's the insane bump plugin I was talking about. We'll give it a second. And this insane bump plugin is pretty nice. Also because it does all the maps for you. It does the displacement, the diffuse, the occlusion, the specular, and the normal. And it's working pretty hard over here to get it all done. So as soon as it gets all done, I will show you guys that. And as you can tell, it's done the displacement, occlusion, normal, specular, and diffuse. And that is cool. And we could go ahead and save this out if we'd like. But I'm going to go ahead and close this because I know not everybody has Insane Bump. And just know that you could, it's free to download and it's out there. Just Google it, and it works pretty decent. For some reason, though, after, I don't know, a few versions ago of Gimp, I don't know, for some reason this stopped updating. But I'm going to click close, and we're going to go to filters, and we're going to go back to map, and we're just going to click on normal map. And there's also a make seamless button on there, but it works sort of. So we're going to come over here, and in this plugin, I'm going to click 3D preview. And I'm going to click back over here, and I'm going to go to this diffuse map. And it's not wanting to work. Let me go ahead and click on cube, and it's not wanting to reset. So I'm going to reset view and click up here, the object type. You could change this to cube. You could change this to a sphere or a torus, and then a teapot also, if you want to see how it looks tiled. And I'm going to just go ahead and make this full screen here. So I'm using the left button to kind of pan around this a little bit, or to rotate it, I mean. And to zoom in and out, it's the right one going up and down. So it looks like it's tiled pretty good. I got the wrap clicked on the options, and normally it will be on the filter, the before sample, and you can go through all these. You got the Sobe 3x3. That actually doesn't look too bad. We could go to Sobel. This is the 5x5. And that's a little much. We click on the Pruitt, and that tones that down. And I do apologize that wouldn't update with the texture. I don't know why it works sometimes and sometimes it don't. Then we got the Pruitt 5x5. And you could go ahead and change the scale, 0.5. And it is tiled pretty good. So I'm going to leave it like that. Just make sure wrap is ticked, and I scaled it down to 0.5, and I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And there you go. Now we got our normal map. So I'm just going to go to save this out, and I accidentally clicked the wrong button. I'm going to click export as, and I think I just ruined that diffuse map. I'm going to press underscore NM, and I'm going to click export, and I'm pretty sure I just ruined that texture map. Let me look in here. Yep, I ruined that texture map that we just created. So I showed you guys the process of that. That's okay, because I got this one saved. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that one in here. And I'm going to go ahead and delete that normal map. So we got the one that I made previously in here, and I do apologize. I accidentally clicked the wrong button, and that's the reason why I hate that this is right here, right next to your export option, because once you click this, and you're doing something else, it could ruin everything. But anyways, so we're back here. And so we got the normal map down. Now the next thing we are going to do is you could go in here and go to filters and go to map. And they got a bump map. And you can create a bump map. But I like creating my bump maps and stuff manually. So we're going to go up to colors. and we're going to go ahead and desaturate this image, and I'm going to do by luminosity, and I'm going to press OK, and we're going to go ahead and create, people call them bump displacement maps. So we're going to go ahead and go up to color and go to levels, and with a displacement map, you wanted the image to be black and white, basically. So you want to kind of find a balance. Let me zoom in here. We want to have all the details in the rocks. So we want them to be white, and we want everything else to be sort of kind of black. If you go too dark with this, your displacement map's going to be super detailed and stuff like that. And that is fine in some cases because we could turn them down, but I kind of like to keep mine in the middle. So I'm going to say something about right there, and I'm going to kind of, the gray value in here, they work. It's just tones it down a little bit. I'm going to make sure I turn the white value back up though, because I want to make sure I get them rocks in there. And let's go into the midtones, kind of darken that up a little bit, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and press OK, and then we're going to go ahead and go to File, Export As, and then we're going to export this as a displace. And we're going to use this one map for the displacement and for the bump. So let's see, textures 2. I'm going to go ahead and export that there. And I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Open, and I'm going to go ahead and open that back up. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do pretty much the same process, but we're going to make a specularity map. And the specularity map is it maps out the gloss in the image. And as you can see, this is the ground and there's not too much gloss, but you can do your artistic stuff to it or whatever. You don't have to make it just like the image. So we're going to just go back up to colors, and we're going to desaturate this too, and we're going to do it by luminosity. Press OK, and then we're going to go ahead and go into colors, and then go to levels again. And now for the specular map, it works pretty much the same way. So the darker the values, we don't want no specularity in the crevices and stuff like that. We just kind of want it on top of the rocks. So you're going to want to make this image pretty dark, pretty black and white. Sometimes I do go a little bit overboard with this, so I'm going to tone this down, and I'm going to have some of the gray values in there more, just kind of like that. And I'm going to press OK, and then I'm going to go to File, Export As, and we are going to export this as the texture underscore spec. And we'll save this in textures 2 and press export. And there we go. So that's all you do. So we got the specular, the diffuse, the normal, and yeah, and that's it. So we're going to go ahead and jump over into Blender real quick, and I'm going to show you guys this right here. Oops, Control Z that. I'm just going to press 1 on my keyboard. Maybe if it works and don't crash on me. And as you can see, I just set this up on a plane. I'm going to go ahead and press Z and go into solid. And you can see I use that displacement to kind of map the rocks out. And so we'll just press 0, and I'll press Z real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty guys, so that's what that mapped out displacement and stuff like that looks like. It's a pretty simple process. and it looks really good. I should have rendered a image out before I did this, but that is fine. So I'm going to just go ahead and press Z and go back into Solid. Press Control S to save that. I'm going to go to File, New, Reload Startup File. This is the startup file. Let me go ahead and start my screencast display. Let me turn this up some. And let me move this out here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and press X and then click on delete to delete that cube. I'm going to press Shift A to add a mesh, and we're going to add a plane. And I'm just going to press S. Oops, I'm going to press S. And then we're just going to scale this up by 9, just like that. And we are going to switch over into Cycles Render. And I'm going to use my GPU. I want the border rendering. Let me go ahead and control and raise this stuff up so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I click on border. And that's fine for now. This is just for testing purposes. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to move my window up. And you'll see in this top corner that you'll see this little kind of like, I don't know, little tab looking thing. It looks like a triangle in the corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab it, and I'm going to pull it to the left, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to open that as the UV image editor, and I'm going to turn this into my node editor, and I'm just going to click on new down here, and I'm just going to name this Rocky for Rocky material. And the first thing we want to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and press Shift A in the node editor down here, Shift A, and we are going to add a texture, image texture. And then we're going to press open, and we're going to go find our textures. So over here, oops, I got mine saved here, and I'm going to use that original one because I messed up and clicked the wrong button. So we're going to plug in the image texture into the diffuse, just like that. And we're going to press Shift A, and then we are going to add a shader. And it's going to be a glossy shader. And there is this cool plugin that if you hold down Alt and then with the right click, you drag up to another node and it adds a mix shader. And I'm just going to hold down Control X to delete that out of there. But anyway, so we're going to press Shift A and we'll add a mix shader. And I will leave the name of that plugin in the description below because I can't remember it offhand. But it does come with the install of Blender, so there ain't no downloading or nothing like that. So we got the image texture, diffuse, glossy, and then a mix shader. So if I come over here, I'm going to press 1 on my number keypad and then 5 to go into orthographic mode. And I'm going to press Control-Alt-0 to line my camera with the view. And then I'm going to, if you don't have this panel open, just click on In. Open it up, scroll down to where you find lock camera to view, and then now we can move around with the camera. And I'm panning around with my middle mouse button, zooming in with my middle mouse button. Rotating with my middle mouse button, and then panning, holding down Shift, middle mouse button, and then zooming in, scrolling your middle mouse button. So I'm going to press 7 to go into top mode, and I'm going to grab the light, and I'm going to just go ahead and click over here. I'm going to click on the lamp tab and I'm going to change it to sun, use nodes, and we'll use 2.5 as the strength. And I'm going to press R for rotate, and I'm going to rotate it towards the plane here. Then I'm going to press 3 on my number keypad and to go to the right side view. And then I'm going to press R and kind of rotate it up, and then go to 1 to go to front view and kind of rotate that up again. Then let's go back to 7, make sure we didn't change it too much. And we're going to go ahead and rotate it again. So I'm going to press 0 on my number keypad to go back into my camera. And I'm going to click back on my plane. And we're going to go press Z and then go into material mode. And you'll see that you don't see nothing. So you got to press Tab and then go into edit mode. And if you guys don't have these pies selected, you just press Tab and it will go into edit mode automatically. So we are going to, with everything highlighted, if you don't have everything highlighted, just press A again and it'll highlight everything. And then we are going to just press U and then just click unwrap. And then let's go tab and then go back into object mode. And now you'll see that the image is mapped to our plane here. So, and you'll see that it's kind of grayed out and stuff. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that here in a minute. Matter of fact, let's fix that now. So I'm going to go ahead and click Shift A, and we're going to add another texture, and we're going to add a image texture, and we are going to open up the spec map. So let's go and find that. And here's the spec map I have here. So I'm going to click on open, and we are going to change the spec map to non-color data. And then we are going to put that into the factor of the mix shader. And now you'll see that you can see the image again. And instead of using the normal map, we are going to use the bump map this time. But it's the same, so I'll show you both ways. So we'll press Shift A and then add another image texture. And then let's go ahead and open up the normal map, textures, and normal map. Go ahead and open up that there. And we're going to change this to non-color data 2. And then press Shift A and then go to vector and then normal map. And then let's go ahead and connect the color to the color. And then let's click on the normal map to normal, and then just make sure it automatically defaults to the UV. But now if we go and we press Z and then go into rendered, you'll see that there should be some bump on there. And as you can tell, there's some bump, but the strength is way too high. So let's go to something like 0.1. Maybe let's try 0.3. That looks pretty good. Let's go back down to 0.2. 0.25. And we'll call that good with the normal map. And that's all you do to add the normal map. And then, but this time I want to use the bump map for this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just click on that. And I'm just going to hold down Control X and click on delete. And we're going to use the same image node, and we're just going to click that little folder icon and come back in here, and we are going to click on the displacement and click OK. And then we're going to press Shift A, vector, and we're going to do bump map. And we're going to put the color into height. You want to keep it non-color data. And then we're going to click, plug in the normal to the normal on the glossy and the diffuse shader, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and give ourselves some more room here, just so you guys can see that. And then I'm going to press Z and then go into render mode. And as you can tell, that bump just looks a little bit better on the bump map. I'm going to turn the strength down to 0.7. And that looks pretty good to me. We might need to change that here in just a little bit. Let's see. So this is a pretty basic node setup. And we might add some more things to it here in just a minute. But I don't want to confuse people too much. I just want to show you how to set up a decent basic node setup. And if some of you have been watching Blender tutorials before, and if you notice this looks kind of familiar, if I did follow Andrew Price's architectural tutorials. So if you want to go check out his architectural tutorials, they do cost money. I don't remember how much they are now, but it's called the Architecture Academy, and you learn a lot of awesome stuff in there. And he helped me out a lot, so thanks to him. So we're going to press Z, and let's go to solid. And we'll leave this basic node set up. And we are going to go ahead now, and we're going to tab into edit mode again. And we're going to add a displacement modifier. So let me go to out of the camera, and let's just go ahead and press N and then T so you can see that full view. We're going to press W, and then we're going to click on subdivide, and let's click on T to bring that our menu panel back up. I'm going to hold down Control and make that a little bit bigger. And you will see where it says number of cuts. Let's go ahead and try 75. Let's see what that looks like. And I think that will do for now. So we're going to go ahead and tab and go to object mode. And then we are going to press Control 3 to add a subdivision surface modifier. And now this is not light on your computer. So if you have a slower computer, you might want to lower the number of loop cuts you put in there, or lower this subdivision surface modifier just inside of your view here. You could turn it up for your render, and it'll just make your render times a lot longer. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a modifier, and we're going to add the displace modifier. And don't worry if you see it go up, that's fine. We're going to click on texture, and we're going to click new. And then we're going to come over here to our texture tab over here, and we are going to click right here, and we are going to switch this to displacement texture, just like that. And then we're going to come down here where it says image, and we are going to just add that displacement into our image. And now you'll see that it's going super crazy, but that's okay. Let's just go back to our modifier tab, and let's make this 0.005. Click enter. Give it a second. And now you can see that it mapped all of them rocks and stuff from our image. And let's go ahead and press T, and then let's come up here. Go ahead and pull that down a little bit. And let me go ahead and move this down too so you guys can see. Let's go ahead and click on shading up here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there'll be a shading button, and just click smooth. Give it a second, and it smoothed that out there. And that looks really decent, and I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and click on 0 on our number keypad, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to press Z and then go to rendered. And as you can tell, that made that ground look super nice. So I'm going to press Z and go back to solid. And then the next thing we are going to do is, just so you guys can see it better, and I'll do it real quick, I'm going to click on the World tab, click on Use Nodes, click on Color, click on Environment Texture, and then come down here in our Node Editor and click on the World down here and switch over to that. I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to add a Input Texture Coordinate. I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to add a Converter, Vector, and then Mapping. And then I'm going to go to Generated, Vector, and then plug the vector into the vector, just like that. And then I'm going to scroll in here, and I'm going to open up a HDRI, and I don't even remember which one I used. I'm just going to click on that one right now because I don't remember which one I used. I'm going to go ahead and press Z and go into rendered. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to pan, rotate. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to rotation, and I'm going to move the sun over coming from this direction, just like that. Yeah, that looks all right to me for now. And I'm going to scale this by 2, 2, and then 2. And just so it looks a little bit better. And there we go. So that looks pretty nice, and that's how you do tileable textures. If I come up here and I zoom way out, and you can see that that mapped perfectly. You don't see no seams or nothing like that in that texture. That turned out to be a super, super nice texture. Turn up the strength a little bit. Yeah, it turned out to be really, really nice. And then now all you need to go to is switch back to that little box, and then you could play with press Shift A, and you could go to color and do a hue saturation. Saturate it a little bit more, Control A, color, and do a brightness contrast. And bump up the contrast by 0.05. And that's all we have to do. And you see that that is a super, super nice texture without that much work. If you want more bump, you just play with your strength and stuff here. You could play with the level of subdivisions in the surface of your plane and all that good stuff. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this tileable texture tutorial. I just wanted to go through and just this stuff was kind of a bonus here. I just wanted to show you what the textures look like after you got done tiling them, and just kind of show you how you guys can come in here and check them out pretty super easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned a lot. And please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you later. Thank you.